Well, hello everybody. This is Paul Pedron, Product Manager for Service Desk and Hybrid Workspaces. How are you doing? Hope everybody's doing well today. Hope the volume's good and on the audio, and you can see my desktop. Oh, March, I hope you're entrenched in 2023 and moving forward, huh? So, February 21st today, and we are ZenCast Live. Today we're going to be talking about ZSD automating onboarding, and we're going to deviate a little bit from that, and there's other ways you can do this automating, but that was an easy way to get the subject started. But this is ZenCast Live. It's for ZenWorks admins, ZenWorks community, and anybody even interested in ZenWorks. We meet the first and third Tuesday, 9 o'clock Mountain Time. Feel free to jump on in. If you log into YouTube, you'll be able to actually chat with us. But if you wanted to see the full list of details and recordings, you can go out to, these are recorded out on the Microfocus, now OpenText, support and training site. All the different products are out here, including ZenCast. And if this particular ZenCast, since it pertains to Service Desk, it'll also be listed under Service Desk. But you can view the full playlist out here. So you can always go back to it if you're referencing or you haven't started that particular component yet and you want to go back and see if we've discussed it here. You can go and search on it. Let's do a little bit of house cleaning. So like I said, if you subscribe to the YouTube notifications or log into the YouTube chat, you can be able to comment, ask questions online as we move along. Be sure if you're watching this recording to put in comments and I'll respond to them, to the recording you're watching if you have any questions or need a PDF or anything like that. Also, the likes are important as well. If you like this particular recording, please mark that. It's best viewing on Auto 720p 60, and again, all the recorded videos are posted here, and within the descriptions you can get your PDFs. So if we went to this particular one, we should be able to go on and see what it's about, and actually in the description you have links here for different things. So that is available to you, and I hope that you get something out of it. Let's recap a little bit about last time we met 2 weeks ago, ZCM bundle policy cleanup. So bundles and policies both have content. We identified some bundles. They can have multiple versions. Disk space is used up when you have different versions, and especially if you have imported content. We investigated with some queries, and we did some ZCC cleanup of versions. There are different database types and database tools. We discussed a little bit about that. So if you're interested in last week's, last time, double check that, and you could review that online. The recording is up. These recordings come up almost like 10 minutes after we conclude the recording or the session. So it's almost immediate. There were a couple notes. U3 online update registration. I had upgraded to U3. Did my online update registration, but it shows 2020.2. This is okay on U3. It's a little confusing, but even if you're on U3, you'll go through the 2020.2 channel. Okay. ZRS connected. If you have ZRS connected and you've upgraded to update 3, be sure to go in and change those again to the latest version. Right, to the latest update ZRS, so it knows that you've changed that. The February PRU is out there, and be sure to apply those online updates, which come out quarterly. Okay. All right. A couple of quick notes. I threw these in because at the end we're going to have the versions and all that stuff. But here's some quick notes. Patch services. It was asked on U3 what port it was using. 61295, okay, and you can check that in the patches settings.sh. March 16th is our next monthly webinar for ZenWorks. They'll be covering ZCM 2020 Update 2, macOS Modern Management, and Azure AD User Source. Okay, and then March 22nd is a ZenWorks Meet the Experts Day. So it's an online interactive webinar. So you can go out here to register for it and actually go ahead and register, and we'll be online and chat with you about update 3, patch management, whatever the topics happen to arise during that day, that timeline. Okay, so that's a new webinar that's out there that's going to be online on March 22nd. So mark that date. A couple of blogs that came out: Dynamic Forms How To and Report Builder How To. So you can actually understand a little bit more about Service Desk, how to do Report Builder, and there are videos attached to this. All right, there's some results, and then view the how-to video, as well as the dynamic forms. You can see the how-to video. All right, links directly there, or you could go out to the Micro Focus support and training. They're out there. All right, and the last thing on the quick notes is imaging fixes. There is, under your SLD, imaging fixes on 2020 Update 3, a download. So it's an FTF. So double check that if you're doing imaging and you're upgrading to 2020 Update 3, do look at that to see if it applies to you. Okay. That's what I have on the quick notes. What about today? Today we're going to do ZSD automation and onboarding. We're going to talk a little bit about the key components, the configuration, and other uses. That's what I mean. It isn't just automating onboarding. You can automate a few different things and have it go through a particular workflow. The instance here, onboarding is a pretty easy concept to understand, where you have a new employee. The new employee needs passwords. The new employee may need a laptop or a desktop, may need a phone provision. But each one of these users, each one of these need a different ticket for a different workflow for a different department, right? Users would be HR. A laptop or desktop might be IT. A phone might be your telecom. So we're going to discuss how this works and you could use this for other things like network maintenance. Maybe you have router updates, router maintenance you want to do quarterly or yearly. You want to make sure you have the configuration backed up. You want to make sure you have the firmware updated. Double check the firmware. Run some diagnostics. You could set these into a combination of things in Service Desk to be able to do that, as well as like PC deployment, which is even more simplified than onboarding. You deploy a PC, there's diagnostics, there's having the user log in, making sure all the applications are present for that user, those types of things. So yes, you can use dynamic forms for that, but you can also dovetail in the group templates. And that's what we're going to be using today, is group templates. Okay. Again, the components we're going to discuss is log in as an HR representative to process a new user. So let's take a quick look at that. Let me go over here and bring up, I'm an HR rep. Yeah, 160 is the one I want. So I'm just going to log in. I'm Cindy Moody, let's say, on the in the system, and I need a new request, and I have a new employee come in. I'm in HR, right? So I'm just going to go ahead, and I see create new incident, new request. Well, I can go to the quick forms, and I can go onboarding, and the GT is just in my system for group template. So onboarding, you can see the multiples here. So we have multiple workflows here. So we're going to go over here. Actually, let's back up 1 second. New desktop, new laptop, new printer, new phone, account access, new user orientation maybe. So that may have to go to training. So we're onboarding employees. All right, you can do this for offboarding, moving departments. You can have multiples. So we're going to go ahead and select this guy. Now, we've set it up in this configuration so that they're all present. All the different items can be present. Now, what we did is we made items for a new user orientation, new user account access, new desktop, new laptop. So these are individual items. They aren't specific assets, meaning a PC sitting on a desktop. This is to get the ball rolling, okay? And that item can be changed once they deploy a particular asset. They can actually change this name from new desktop to whatever asset it is. But we've also set this up to where you could say, well, they don't need orientation because it's a move. All right, this guy came in at this department. He's moving over to another department. He doesn't need onboarding orientation. So you can uncheck this. Now you can have these, and we'll go through the process to see how it's set up, but you can also have them so that if you start a process, maybe the first one kicks off, and until this one is complete, this ticket isn't created. So you can actually stage them as selected, okay? So this one just presents all of them. We want to send tickets out to everybody that needs to be able to provision a phone, maybe a printer, a laptop, and so forth. You could see what different details are in each one of these tickets. So and this is a checkoff list that we're looking at. Do they need a card key, employee ID? So we put a dynamic form in here to actually help us with our checklist, okay? So that way we have an HR orientation checklist. And then if we have an account, we put a dynamic form in for network login, home drive. They log into the device. Do they have all of these resources available? Okay. So for each one of these, we can tag on to these particular tickets automatically and see if they need these resources. Okay. So this will just throw out a bunch of different tickets to these areas. We're going to say it's Jane Doe, and we're going to say the hire date is today, 21 February 2023, and the department, let's say, is finance. Okay. So this is our ticket. We've selected so that all of these actually will go out. We can actually say, okay, she doesn't need a laptop, so we won't send a ticket for that. But you can see the classification is here, the status. You can set these in the ticket to where it starts, and of course the item we talked about. Let's go ahead and hit create. Now you'll see that it created 5 different requests automatically. And if we go to the request page at this point in time, we will see 5 different requests. Okay, to 76. So you can see new user orientation, account access, desktop, new printer, new phone. Notice a laptop isn't in here. Okay. If we look this over, we could see that that information is each one of the tickets. All right, excuse me. Turn that off. So you do have details in each one of these tickets in the body of the message. Okay. Now this is very helpful because you know, not having to create 5 different tickets and making sure you hit HR and you've hit IT and all those areas. This is just a single, boom, it's already ready to go. Now from a technician, Clark Kent got this one. You could see here, this is for, he's in IT, so he can provision phones. And Clark Kent also can provision new printer. We see Roadrunner does a new desktop. Okay. We could see Clark Kent also can do new account access. And you can see Cynthia Moody in HR can take care of the orientation. All right. So that, and it's already in an in progress state. Okay. These are pending, waiting approval, right? And Clark would have to approve that. That's where it's sitting, is Clark's Clark's desk at this point. So if we logged out, this is a customer. Cynthia Moody's in as a customer. Let's go and let's log out. Let's log in as Clark, and we can see his incidents. Actually, there's service requests. We specified service requests in this case. Notice the 3 onboarding that he has in his queue. Notice the group. All right. So you can actually go to groups and see what's going on. If we need to open this up, we can. We can see the details here. We can see for this particular one, provisioning a phone, we could say yes. And then we could do a PO number if it's there. What type of phone is it? What phone model? You can set these in the dynamic form as being required or not required. Additional phone, maybe a headset, right? Or it's a wall mount, okay? Or you can list in other comments. So basically, we now can save this and actually say this is in progress or open. Clark has it. He double checked with the user and the management, and it's pretty much all good to go for this particular employee. Okay. Now, when he decides that if there's an asset tag to that phone, he can actually go in here and select the right item that would be that particular asset if he needed to. Or if this is good enough, then that's good enough. Okay. You can see the technician is assigned to the request, and we're good to go with this one. If we look at some of his others, we could see you have this one here. Again, this is a new account, and it is open, and Clark Kent is the person. We can add additional details here. All right, but let's see. Have anybody else to assign? No. Okay. All right, so we have our different requests open. And now it's just flowing like any other ticket. Okay. Let's look at how we configured this, right? We're going to go over to Home. And if you notice here, we have group templates. This is my 87. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong. I need 160. Home. And Clark doesn't have access to group templates here. He's not an administrator, so we're going to log in as Roadrunner, who does have permission. Oh, let's do C. Moody real quick. She had what? She was in HR. So she has a service request for onboarding. And there's the onboarding right here. Okay. Okay. Let's go back and log in as Roadrunner and see how this is all set up. There he is. All right. We see that he does have that one new desktop, right? And provisioning new desktop, yes. Maybe it's an IBM. You can put in the model, so forth. All right, we'll hit pending approval. We now have it open. We're going to hit OK. Now that request is open. Okay. If we go here. All right. Let's go see how we created that. We went to group templates and we created a new template called onboarding. All right. We decided to say when we have onboarding, the priority is medium. Status is going to be open. Notification, we can have notifications if we want to. Now the components. This is where I said you could do selected or all. If I did all here, then when I created that particular request down here, these checkboxes would not be there. Okay, so it would do all of them no matter what. Okay, maybe you have mandatory things you check. Maybe it's a motor pool and you need to check certain things and have it go through a particular process. Do an alignment, do tune-up, you know, whatever. So you can do it that way. So that's what that all is. Components all are selected. So we've set it on selective. Now on creation, remember I said we could have them do one at a time, and once it's done, the next ticket opens. You could do in sequence, which means it would show one, and then it would flow through as tickets are closed. Okay, or creation on save. So once you save that ticket, it goes out like we did. All 5 new tickets are created. Okay. All right, that's the first part of it. However, you have a group analysis where we have quick calls, okay, and create a new quick call. Let's do this. Let's go onboarding cubicle. Let's say the process would be a service request. So you can see you have the selection of incident, service request, or change. What is this particular going to be? The item, do I have any? Not sure if I have cubicle in here. Type. Let's see. Let me go. I thought I had cubicles in here, but I don't know how far down it is. Item number, let's go cube. See if it comes up within. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we'll say cubicle. Okay, that's going to go to facilities construction. Workflow, we can go, in this instance, this is our selection, right? Line manager approval, we're going to set it as pending until they say otherwise. And if we have a change team, it's going to be the default change team. We're going to assign it to Clark. The impact is moderate. Urgency is moderate. Okay. Now, this estimate in minutes, you could put a 0 in here if you don't want any time. In 8.4, this will not be a required field, but you could put 0 in here. Okay. And then if there's a dynamic form, you can attach it here. I don't think I have any dynamic forms for facilities. Okay, so we're not going to have a dynamic form. That's those extra details. You can also do notifications and so forth. Let's go, and then you do have to fill in this cubicle, onboarding cubicle, in building X. Okay, and we'll say, now it's part of that group template called onboarding. Okay, you can move these up and down. Again, remember in sequence, if you were to select in sequence, then you'd want these in the right order. First is orientation and account setup, then deployment of, provisioning, those types of things. Or maybe cubicle first and then deployment of provisioning. But that's where you could go ahead and select these and shuffle them around. Okay. Hit save. Is it done? Let's go back over to our customer. I'll log in as customer Roadrunner just for kicks and giggles. New request. You can see our cubicle is now in here. We didn't have a dynamic form, so there's no plus there. You can see cubicles here. So you can slowly get things in place, and whatever they put in the body of the text would go to all of these tickets. Okay. Now, one thing to remember is we talked a little bit about the configuration. I did have cubicle in here. If we did a search, item type, cube, search. Oh, maybe not. It was facilities. Cubicle. Okay. I just created cubicle, door external. So this is a facilities area for construction. And then we have an HV area for HVAC. All right. So door interior, door exterior. If we look over here, I think we have some more cubicles for facilities, partition, partition back, those types of things. Okay, so they could actually piece it together, see what different items they need to order or that they need to bring out to the site to create that particular user's cubicle with. Okay. So how we got that started is we created a category called onboarding. All right. We have onboarding. We obviously have fields here. We didn't use any of these fields, but we have onboarding. And if we look at the classification, we did new employee, which is our default. So we turn custom on. And then we also created a offboarding in case you wanted to do offboarding. Right? Somebody's leaving the company. Okay. So just a couple of ideas there. So that's the item category. Within that item category, we created some types. OB printer, computer, communications accounts, new user, HR. Okay, if we go over to types, it's like a tree, right? This is the stump, this is the branches, this is the leaves. Okay, or a file cabinet, drawers, files. Okay, so if we look here and we looked at there's onboarding accounts. And what items do we have associated? We have new account access. Okay, each one of these have a different team. So you can have an HR team, you can have, the different teams that you need. You could designate in the different types and items. So if we do a search for, again, I want to do OB, I think is what I did. Nope. Search. The item was phone. If I can type, search. So it's phone. Okay. This is facilities hardware. This is the onboarding. Notice this category is different. They're separate, right? Why would you have two? You may have two because facilities gets phone calls all the time. Somebody requests an IP phone. In this particular instance, this item is an IP phone or a regular telephone. And they have their processes that they go through. But for onboarding, they need to assign a new phone. And like I said, once the facilities person gets this and puts his phone out there, he can put in all the details and change this item to phone IP with all the details that are needed. Okay. So again, you want to create your categories and then your types. So this is specific strictly to onboarding. That's it. Okay, that's all we have. All right. We didn't make it store capable. We don't want it in the store. One thing you have to note is service category. Can they request? So if they have a onboarding process for HR, is that a break fix or is that a service? It would be a service, right? A break fix would be an incident. So you want to make sure you check this service category. In that particular case, let me see where this one here. So in that particular case, if we looked at, let's step over to another system and we have group templates, router and switch, right? But if we go over to our configuration items and we look at our router, and we have details, our type, router. Okay, we have router and details about the router, the items in there. We have a core router and an ADF router. If we go to our category, which would be network infrastructure, service category is not checked. If I go to try and place a service request for this call, and this goes back to Incident 101, you won't see infrastructure in here for a service request. You'll see it under Incident, which means I can start selecting the router. So you want to make sure that this is checked if you're doing service requests against this item. All right. If we save this, I should then be able to go over to here, and we can now see infrastructure. All right. So key component, if it's not showing up, it's probably a category setting. Okay. Make sure you are aware of what this is used for all your service requests. Okay. The other thing to note, let's go back to the original system where we did our onboarding. Now, as I said, we have group templates. We go into the group templates, we create a group analysis, new quick call, right? We do add, and you can see here it's a quick call. Let's talk about this just for a minute. First off, this isn't all the quick calls that are there. You can see we have others down here, right? You could use some that were previously created. The easiest way is to do a new quick call because it'll go right into this analysis. The reason why I say that is currently we're in group templates, right? Under quick calls, you don't see under the standard quick calls any onboarding quick calls here. All right? Or even the scheduled quick calls. So it actually is in 8.3.1 and before, the group template quick calls are separate. Okay? In 8.4, they're going to be completely combined, which means if you go to quick calls, you'll be able to see this grid for quick calls, scheduled quick calls, and group template quick calls, and all. And all would have an additional column saying which group it's in. Okay, so this is kind of a little hidden Easter egg that I wish was more exposed, these particular quick calls. But they will be in 8.4, okay? Just as a matter of note. So we're gonna have that exposed, all under quick calls, and you could also go to group templates and be able to do new quick call too. But just so you know, this is a separate list that isn't exposed under quick calls, and they are quick calls. Okay. So that's what we have for onboarding. As you see under this other system, if there are any questions, please shout them out in chat. Happy to try and answer those or walk through them with you. Okay. We have some categories here. We go to group template. We can go to router, edit, and we have to assign a particular item to a group template, right? So this is, in this case, is router. Just like on the other system, this group template was onboarding new employee. Okay, so you have to assign something there just to give it an idea of what's going on. Right, so we have router classification. We can go connection. We can go whatever classification. You can add new classifications in here like we talked about under the category. Priority for a router, we're going to make high. And we're going to say it's open, right? We're going to make sure we email. And who has access to this? All customers. So customers can say router. Yay, nay. Depends on your environment. Okay. We're going to say, in this case, we're going to go selected and in sequence. So let's give this a try. Down device. We have a few things listed here to check. Down device, run diagnostics, firmware check, firmware upgrade, verify configuration, backup configuration. Okay. So I'm going to take these actually. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this. All right, new. And now cancel. Let me go down. Let's go here, new. So I have these. Okay. Move this aside just so I can remember which ones they are. We're going to hit save. We're going to go to group analysis, edit, add, new quick call. We're going to say router diagnostics. Okay. And we're going to say this is a service request. So in this case, it's going to be a service request. Now the item we can put in here is, let's say, core router. And we'll leave it at warranty. This is going to be service request workflow. Maybe you have a network service request workflow for the network team. Okay. We're going to say this is in progress. We don't want to have it open because this being a service request means it's going to be, you know, a date in the future. Typically an incident is right now. So, and normally you schedule your core router downtimes. So we're going to do this service request team. We'll give it to Roadrunner. It's going to be moderate because it's not a down device. It's more of a service request. And we're going to say 0. Okay. We don't have a dynamic form. We could do that for all the other things like firmware check, upgrade, verify configuration, and backup. So we'll do that in a moment. Core router service, check, stuff, right? Hit save. Now what we can do is we can go to dynamic form, new, router, service. Okay, it's going to be a service request. You do quick call, and the quick call here also applies to if you were to just do quick calls, it will show up in the group template. Okay, those quick calls. You can also say I want an additional, oh, by the way, you can ask for router service by creating a service request. All right, we're going to do a few boxes in here. We'll do it to the right. We're going to do diagnostics, firmware version, check. Firmware update. Backup configuration. Verify configuration. We can move this one and verify first and then backup. Right? We can list these. The layout could be in line if you want to move them in a different fashion. Okay. We're just going to hit OK there. We'll hit save. Now that we have it, it's a very simple checklist, so we didn't go too far with that. We're going to now go back into the infrastructure router and we're going to go to group analysis, router diagnostics, which is, we probably want to do router service, right? Because diagnostics is in the dynamic form. Okay. Save. All right. Now let's see if we have what we need. Give it to Nestor. We're going to do our core. We will want this offline when we do the service, so we may need downtime. I don't think I have target device, router, service, offline. Now, since I didn't use the group template, I assign the dynamic form to the group template. And if I go ahead and do a save here, create request, we'll see that the dynamic form isn't in here. Okay, it would be right in here. But if I'm thinking correctly, go to a quick call, dynamic form, router service, router closet powered down. We'll just pick something in here. Oh, it didn't come in here. Create. Wow, I forgot. Do Nestor again. And pick our core. Again, service offline. Create. Request. I missed something. Oh, quick call template. Oh, because I said quick call. Quick call template didn't come in here. And you have to assign it. Let's go back. So we missed something. So we have a group template, service router, edit, selected, in sequence. We really only have one router service. Let's add one just for kicks and giggles. Process service. We'll go core router. Go ahead and assign these. Moderate, moderate. 0. Router backup. Go ahead, save. All right. Save. You do service and you'll do backup. If I go to customer, do I have not what I'm looking for? Dynamic form isn't showing up yet. Hang on. So again, we got our group templates. In our group template, we have a dynamic form under service. Okay. Quick calls. Nope. Okay, let's make sure the user Roadrunner can do service requests. Oops, sorry. Roadrunner. He can do requests. Let us go to setup privileges. I'm just looking at different areas that might have affected that quick call. Store enable, we don't care about store so much. Another thing we're going to be doing is making these a little bit more visible. If I do Control F and I look for create quick request, it is on. Okay. And let's check here. Enable quick calls is turned on for requests. So you'll need requests and users at least for quick requests. Oh, that's quick requests, not quick calls. Okay, let's go back to how I had this guy set up for onboarding. We had dynamic forms, onboarding dynamic forms, had a quick call. Okay, so home, dynamic form, router service, quick call. Want to be more exact, we'll take that off. Save. What were my notes on that? I know this bogged me up once before too. Group analysis, customer create requests, service category. So let's double check our category for routers. Configuration, categories, network infrastructure is service. We have these types. Then if we go to the types, we have these items. They're both deployed. So the items seem to be correct. What was the other? Request groups, incident groups. Oh. Yeah, I think I remember it now. We have configuration. Let's go back over to this guy. We have requests, service. Let me find it. Operations. There they are. Okay. So we're going to do a request group. And that was in this part here, request groups. Okay. So we want to create a request group over here. And to do that, you go into operations. New. Use template. This is going to be a router service request group. Okay. Request group. We're going to pick router. So this is what actually groups all those requests together to display them. And we are going to go ahead and hit save. We need a customer first name road search. So this may be my supervisor or my router specialist or whoever. Okay. Let's see if, oh, there's a group. Yeah, I was there. Notice it came in. So you do have to make sure you do operations for your requests to have request groups. So again, following this, making sure you have these checked off. And this one is optional. Dynamic forms is optional, obviously. But now if we go in and we do a request for service, just select this because we now don't have that in the service request because we took that and we unchecked that. We only made it quick call. So let's do infrastructure, and you can see it's in here. Router backup, we did not have a form for that, for the backup, so it doesn't have a plus, as I mentioned. And so now we can create a service ticket in sequence, right? This one was in sequence. Let's go ahead and hit create. So you can see only one is created. So we're going to go to 81. We're going to say it's resolved. Actually, we can't do it from here. We have to go to Roadrunner. Let's go to our requests, 81. So you see how this goes in sequence here. Go here. We can scroll down and we can say, yeah, Roadrunner, it's going to be open. We've done these things on this particular device, and we've backed up, and we're going to hit save. Okay. Now we can close this. All right. And we should, after I hit save, we should see another backup router config request come through. 82. And there it is. So you can see until this one's closed, this one doesn't go. So it all depends on, there's dependencies there in this particular one when you have this set to selected. And when I say have this set to selected is when we have the group template, this here selected. I'm sorry, in sequence or on save. This does all of them. This one does it in sequence. In this sequence. First one's router service, then router backup. Okay. Well, we solved that. Yeah, so that's why I made these notes here on the PowerPoint. These are the different components. Okay. The quick calls analysis is here, group analysis. And whether or not customers can create requests. Okay. That's how you can simplify and start automating these processes that have dependencies that are always the same. You know, whether it's a motor pool, whether it's facilities, whether it's finance or HR, onboarding, where you have multiple workflows that need to be attacked with a single, you can then go ahead and set up your group templates. Sorry, back to home. Set up your group templates with the quick calls, and then to enable them, you go to operations and create a group, either service request or incident group. Okay, in short, that's Reader's Digest. All right. See what else we have here. Yeah, like network maintenance, PC deployments, those types of things. We had a previous employer where when we went up to council chambers, we needed to have certain things done. You know, they had to in sequence before we actually, while we're working on a particular issue. Okay, so just an idea there. All right, I don't see any questions in chat, but next is change control outages and alerts for Service Desk. Also, don't miss the March 16th webinar on U4, what's coming in U4, which includes Azure AD and Mac Modern Management. Okay, we have some other requests down here. If you have other requests, please send them to zen@microfocus.com. If you want to see the schedule, you can see it out here. Welcome to Livecast. It has both the monthly webinar registration here, as well as our ZENcast schedule here. And I'm including now the monthly webinar in there. And then if you look down here, you have every ZENcast and the webinars that are happening. So you can go directly to the link and actually view it, or you can go to the blog and actually register. So that makes it real handy for you. Okay. If you have any other ideas about this, please send them along. I'd love to see, love to implement those if it makes it any easier. And then let's cover the versions real quick. We're currently on 2020 Update 3. February PRU is out. Don't forget about the appliance quarterly security patches, whether you're on ZRS, ZSD, ZCM. There is a FTF server 1015 out for the cumulative updates. Be aware that that's out there. There is the imaging update that we have is July 2022. They're working on getting another one out. However, there is imaging fixes you can find in SLD for update 3. So be aware that if you're on imaging and you're upgrading to update 3 and you're doing imaging, you may need to apply that fix. ZRS 7.8 is out. A31 and Hybrid Workspaces 22.9 is out. There's links here. And again, if you want, let me do this. Let me put in the chat again today's ZENcast PDF. So if you're watching this recording, you should be able to download that. Also look in the description for those. Unified Endpoint Management and Protection Futures. We're looking at update 4 next. We're looking at ZRS 8.0 in May, ZSD 8.4 in June. Also, the update 4 is around July, is what we're currently targeting it for. And Hybrid Workspaces in March. We'll have new release, and there's some added features that are going there. Some community forums, a couple of the new things, a dynamic forums how-to video, a report builder how-to video. Some of the other ones are older ones that I've had on here, just rotating them down. New ones here are for TIDs and cool solutions. ZenWorks Control Center throws exception when trying to view LDAP-based ZCC administrator. If you're running into that, take a look there. And then an exception is posted in ZCM. This implementation is not part of the Windows platform for FIPS validate. Take a look there. And then the FDE ERI, do not upload after upgrading. So if you're looking for those are some new TIDs that are out. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Other things are the ZSD blog. Be sure to go out to the ZSD blog and the Hybrid Workspaces blog, as well as ZCM blog. Then we do have other live casts. Filer happens. There's first Thursday, Groupwise Enterprise Messaging, second Thursday. ZenWorks is that webinar, the third Thursday, and OES and iPrint, fourth Thursday. So we have those in place. Feel free to use these links to register for each one of these. Okay. And finally, some events coming up. We have TTP EMEA in Weiden, Germany, starting next week. We look for great success, but it's in person, and you can register online for virtual to see those sessions. Meet the Experts is coming up, brand new. It is going to be an event that we're putting together to meet the experts. It's going to be for the EMEA region, but feel free to dial in. It's in the afternoon out there, so it should be morning out here. And the floor is open to you. Ask questions. July, we're going to have a USA TTP. And remember the old ones, Bright Talk has some sessions out there that you might look forward to using. Next topic, March 7th, is ZSD change control outages and alerts. I thank you very much. We're right up to the time limit, and I appreciate your time today and appreciate you being here. I hope everything goes well the next 2 weeks, and be sure to check out that webinar coming up. All right? Thank you very much, and stay safe.